Inside were letters, dozens of them. "My dearest Claire," the first one began. "I can't stop thinking about that night. I know it's wrong. And if John ever found out," there was a photo too, tucked in the last envelope, his arm around her waist. On the back, in her handwriting, "Summer 97. Our little secret." And that's when the front door opened. Dad walked in, his work boots thudding on the hardwood. Dad's keys slipped from his hand, clattering onto the hardwood floor like a gunshot in the silence. His eyes, blue and steady, the eyes I'd always thought I'd gotten from him, narrowed, searching my face, then Ellie's, then Mom's. The air in the room thickened, pressing against my chest until I could barely breathe. Ellie stood frozen beside me, her hands balled into fists, tears streaking her cheeks. Mom took a shaky step forward, her voice trembling as she tried again. "John, please, it's not." "Claire," Dad said, his tone sharp enough to cut through her words. "Let him speak." I swallowed, my mouth dry as sandpaper. The letters lay scattered on the coffee table, their faded ink a silent witness to the truth I couldn't unknow. I'd rehearsed this moment in my head 100 times since last night, but now, standing here with Dad's gaze boring into me, the words felt like stones lodged in my throat. "I took a DNA test." I started, my voice rough. "For fun, Ellie and me. We thought it'd be a laugh. But it came back wrong." Dad's brow furrowed, but he didn't interrupt. Behind him, the clock on the wall ticked too loud, counting down to the inevitable. "It says Ellie and I are half-siblings," I went on. "And there's this cousin, Cynthia, tied to some Italian family, Moretti." I didn't get it at first, but then I found these. I gestured to the letters, my hand shaking. "They're from Tony, to Mom, from before I was born." Dad's face didn't change, not at first. He just stood there, stock still, like a man waiting for the punchline to a joke he didn't find funny. Then his eyes flicked to Mom, and something shifted. A flicker of recognition, maybe, or dread. "Tony," he said, low and slow, the name a question and an accusation all at once. Mom's sob broke the silence, a raw, guttural sound that made Ellie flinch. "John, I'm so sorry," she whispered, her hands twisting together. "It was one time, one stupid, terrible mistake. We were fighting, you and me, and Tony was there, and I didn't mean for it to happen. Didn't mean for what to happen." Dad's voice rose, cracking like a whip. He stepped forward, his boots heavy on the floor. "Say it, Claire." She shrank back, her shoulders hunching. "Sam. Sam's his. Tony's, not yours." The room tilted. Dad's jaw tightened, a muscle twitching in his cheek. He looked at me, really looked at me. And I saw it. The moment the man who'd raised me realized I wasn't his, not by blood. His son, his Sam, was a lie. 27 years, he said, almost to himself, his voice hollow. 27 years, and you kept this from me? "I didn't want to lose you," Mom pleaded, tears streaming down her face. "I love you, John. I chose you. Tony wanted me to leave, but I stayed. I built this life with you." "You built it on a lie," Dad shot back, his words echoing mine from last night. He turned to me, his eyes glassy. "You're sure? The test, the letters. It's all true." I nodded, my throat too tight to speak. I wanted to tell him I wished it wasn't, that I'd give anything to rewind the clock and never open that damn 23andMe box. But the truth was out, a jagged blade cutting through us all. Dad bent down, picked up one of the letters. His hands, big, calloused hands that had fixed my bike and clapped me on the back, trembled as he read. "If John ever found out," he murmured, quoting Tony's words. He dropped the paper like it burned him, his face crumpling. "My best friend, my wife, and you." He looked at me again, pain etched deep. "You're his." "No," I said, the word bursting out of me. I'm yours, Dad. You raised me. You're my father. He shook his head, a slow, heavy motion. I don't know what I am anymore. He grabbed his keys off the floor and turned toward the door. John, wait. Mom lunged after him, but he held up a hand, stopping her cold. I can't be here, he said, his voice breaking. I need time. The door slammed behind him, the sound reverberating through the house like a death knell. Mom sank to her knees, sobbing into her hands. Ellie stared at the spot where Dad had been, her breath hitching. This is your fault, she hissed at Mom, then grabbed her purse and bolted out the back door, leaving me alone with the wreckage. I didn't move for a long time. The house felt alien, its familiar walls closing in. I wanted to chase Dad, to beg him to stay, but my legs wouldn't work. I wanted to scream at Mom, to shake her until she took it all back, but the fight had drained out of me. I picked up the letters, stuffed them into my jacket, and left. The night swallowed me as I drove back to Seattle, the road a blur of headlights and rain. The next week was a fog. Dad didn't come home. Mom called me, her voice thin and desperate, saying he'd texted her he was staying with Uncle Rick in Olympia. He just needs space, she said, but I could hear the lie in it. Ellie wouldn't answer my texts, her silence a wall I couldn't breach. I went through the motions at work, staring at code until my eyes blurred, but my mind was stuck in that living room, replaying Dad's face, Mom's confession, Tony's betrayal. I couldn't stop thinking about Tony. Uncle Tony, who'd tossed me a football at every 4th of July picnic, who'd slipped me $20 when I graduated high school with a wink and a don't spend it all on beer. Had he known? Suspected? I dug out an old address book from a box I'd brought from home years ago and found his number. My thumb hovered over the call button for an hour before I pressed it. Sam. His voice was warm, surprised, the same old Tony. Hey, kid, what's up? Did you know? I asked. No preamble, no pleasantries. A pause, long enough to tell me everything. Know what? That I'm your son. He sucked in a breath, the line crackling with static. Jesus, Sam, how did you? DNA test. Letters from you to Mom. She told me the rest. Another silence, then a shaky exhale. I wondered. It was one night, Sam. One dumb, drunk night. Claire swore you were John's. I didn't push it. I didn't want to ruin things. You didn't want to ruin things? I laughed, bitter and sharp. You did anyway. Dad knows now. He's gone. Sam, I'm so sorry. I never meant. Save it. I snapped and hung up. My hands shook as I tossed the phone onto the couch. He'd suspected, maybe even hoped, and done nothing. Another coward in this mess. Days bled into weeks. Mom kept calling, leaving voicemails I deleted unheard. Ellie finally texted back, a curt, I need time. And I let her have it, knowing she was hurting too. I tracked Dad down through Uncle Rick, who said he was processing, but wouldn't see me yet. The rejection stung, a fresh wound on top of the rest. I met Tony in Portland a month later. I don't know why I agreed. Maybe I needed to see his face, to understand. We sat in a dingy coffee shop, the air thick, with the smell of burnt espresso. He looked older, lines deeper around his eyes, guilt shadowing his every move. I loved her, Sam, he said, staring into his cup. Always did. But she picked John. I stepped back. You didn't step back far enough, I said, my voice cold. You let me grow up thinking I was someone else. I didn't know for sure, he said, pleading. Not until now. I left without finishing my coffee. Forgiveness wasn't on the table. Not yet. Maybe not ever. 2 months after that night, Dad came home. Mom called me, her voice fragile with hope. "He's in the guest room," she said. "We're talking. Sort of." I drove down that weekend. My stomach in knots. The house looked the same peeling paint, same rose bushes Mom tended, but it felt hollow. Dad was in the kitchen, flipping through a hardware catalog, his broad shoulders hunched. He looked up when I walked in, his face unreadable. "Hey, kid," he said, like nothing had happened. But his eyes were tired, older than I'd ever seen them. "Hey, Dad." I sat across from him, the silence stretching thin. "You okay?" He shrugged, setting the catalog down. "Not really. You?" "Same." He nodded, like that was enough. "I've been thinking," he said after a while. "About you. About us. Blood or not. You're my son, Sam. Always have been." Tears pricked my eyes, hot and sudden. "I was scared you wouldn't see it that way." "I almost didn't," he admitted, his voice rough. "When I left, I was so damn angry at Claire, at Tony, at you even. But then I thought about all the years. The games, the fights, the stupid camping trips where you burn the marshmallows. That's what makes a father, not some test." I nodded, swallowing hard. "What about Mom?" His jaw tightened. "I don't know yet. She broke something I'm not sure I can fix. But I'm here. For you. For Ellie." Ellie came around a week later. Her eyes puffy, but her anger softened. We sat on the porch, splitting a beer like old times. "I hated Mom so much," she said, staring at the sunset. "Still do a little. But I missed you." "Missed you too," I said, clinking my bottle against hers. "We're still us, right?" "Yeah," she said, a small smile breaking through. "Half or not. You're still my annoying big brother." The family didn't heal, not fully. Dad and Mom went to counseling, but the silences between them were long, heavy with unspoken hurt. I visited more, trying to bridge the gap, but the ease was gone. Tony faded back to Portland, a ghost I couldn't quite banish. My identity, Sam Carter, Sam Moretti, remained a tangle, but Dad's words stuck. I was his son, blood or not. One night, months later, Dad called me. It was late, the city quiet outside my window. "Sam," he said, his voice soft. "I just wanted you to know I'm proud of you. Always have been." "Thanks, Dad," I said, my voice thick. "I love you." "Love you too, kid." It wasn't a fix, not a happily ever after. But it was something, a thread to hold on to in the ruins of what we'd lost. Maybe in time, we'd weave it into something new.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button and share it with your friends. And if you'd love to see more content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so you never miss a new upload. See you in the next video.